Welcome back on, y'all. A couple of technical difficulties, so we'll get it going here. We'll keep it going. Bear with me. We'll give a few minutes for everybody to show up. Again, thanks for showing up if you're here. Getting some technical difficulties out of the way, but here we are. We'll get started in just a few minutes. If you are getting signed on, we're gonna use a couple props today if you have them. As always, the props are not necessary. You can skip the props altogether. Again, we won't go anywhere that you won't be able to go without props. So use them if you like, skip them if you don't. Again, we'll take a second here to let everybody kind of trickle in. Again, there's a few technical difficulties. I wasn't able to get on as quick as we had hoped, but here we are. While you're getting everything ready, a bottle of water, something to drink, tissues if you feel a little congested, and most importantly, just feel free to take breaks whenever you'd like. This is going to be a 75-minute class. I'll kind of give a heads up when it's getting close towards the hour mark, so if you are just wanting to be in for it, just for an hour, I'll kind of give you that go ahead so you can kind of tap out or start to stretch or whatever it is that you want to do before you end your class. And then if you're in it for the long haul, we got 15 extra minutes to work. So we'll go towards that. And it looks like, yeah, we're about halfway there. Cool. So go ahead, get situated on your mat. We'll start in a seat. If you have your blocks, I would recommend taking them underneath your sit bone so that you get just a little bit lifted and that your hips can be higher up than your knees. And again, that's not a requirement, but if you are feeling any tension, especially in your hips, your hip flexors, or in your knees, see what happens if you get your hips higher. You're probably going to feel a little bit of release. Once you've gotten that settling, check in with your body. Place your hands somewhere comfortable, somewhere secure, and then start to get long through your spine. And notice as you lift the top of your head up, what becomes resisted along the way. So does your shoulders start to creep up towards your ears, or do you start to lift your knees up because your hip flexors are trying to take over? Can you start to soften everything that's touching the ground? From that softness, use it as a root and then begin to grow taller up from that. Let your ears grow taller away from your shoulders and let your shoulders gently relax down. Close your eyes if you haven't already. And if you'd rather not close your eyes, just bring them down to the floor and start to soften your gaze. So make things a little blurry. Focus on nothing in particular. Notice your body, how it feels, how physical sensations can bring up emotions. Three more rounds of breath, just simply observing. Start to work into what's called Kapalabhati breath. So it's going to be a long inhale in through your nose and then 3 sharp exhales through your mouth. So start this in together. Take an inhale in through your nose, big long breath in, and then open mouth exhale, 3 sharp breaths. And do that again. Inhale through your nose, pause at the top, and then open mouth, 3 exhales. We'll do that 3 more times through. Inhale, pause, Kapalabhati exhale. Twice more in, pause, and out. One more time in, pause, and out. Next breath in, seal your lips at the top. Still find that pause. And then exhale through your nose. And then start your slow Ujjayi breathing. Eyes still closed. In through your nose. Out through your nose. And we'll do that for 3 full rounds of breath. With your Ujjayi breathing in place, let that be the rhythm that you choose for class. Each move that you take, it lasts as long as you can breathe in for. Include that moment of pause between your inhale and exhale, and that moment of exhale all the way out, and the pause in between. So 4 stations of breath. See if you can apply that to each pose, or to each time you move, just as deeply. From here, move your block out to the side, child's pose. Take your knees either out wide if you want to get more inner thigh release, maybe a little bit hip flexor release, or knees together if you want more low back release. Take your hands forward, get long, take a big breath in, walk your fingers forward so they extend, and your arms lift up off the ground, and then exhale, sink. And then we'll do that twice. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sink. One more. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale to sink. Set your intention for class. And if nothing else, I want you to connect to your heart, the center of your chest, where you send out love, where you receive and you decipher love. And let everything that you do for the next 70 or so minutes reflect that love that you want to send out and that you want to receive yourself. Breathe in together and out together. All right, shift forward to tabletop. So we're going to start off simple, 3 rounds of cat-cow. We'll take it slow. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Inhale, lower your belly for cow. So pull your chest forward. Attempt to point your tailbone up and spin the inside of your biceps forward. So your elbow pits will shine to the front of the room. Hold here for a full round of breath. You may feel some pops and cracks along the way. That's good. When you're ready, on your exhale, cat pose. So tuck your tailbone first, round your middle and then upper back, and then press the ground away so you continually get longer through your spine by puffing it up. So you want to harness here your Hunchback of Notre Dame, best impression here. Press the ground, draw your belly up. Try to get your spine higher to the ceiling and your chest higher up to your spine. And then we'll do this twice. Breath to movement. Inhale, pull forward for cow pose. Exhale, press and round for cow. Again, inhale, lower to cow. Exhale, get long for cat. All right, come back through to tabletop. So we're going to get into your wrist here for a moment. So from your tabletop position, come up onto your left fingertips and then up onto your right fingertips. So you have spider fingers. Like you're resting a cupcake underneath your palms. I want your palms to stay lifted off the ground. We're going to take these into pulses. So press your finger pads into the ground. Inhale to lift up. Lift your hands off the ground. On your exhale, plant your finger pads and then press them down so you spread out your palms. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press. And this can get a little intense, but it can also take a little bit of movement to really find where you're resisted and where you can make some space. So we'll keep this slow, but not quite breath to movement. A little bit faster than breath to movement. Just here for 4. And palm pulses, finger pulses for 3, for 2, and 1. Come back to center. This time plant your palms flat on the ground. You're going to inhale to lift your palms up, so now you're flat on just your 4 fingers. Your thumb can even lift off the ground. You're stretching through your index finger all the way to your pinky. Lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then make that, again, a little bit faster than breath to movement. Lift your palms, press into the fingers of your hands, and then lower them down. You can get a little movement going here for 5, 4, 3. You have a lot of options to put weight on your hands. You want to at least give them a little fair advantage. Last 2. And 1. Come back to center. Get off your hands. Give them a shake if they need a moment. And then turn your hands to where your thumbs face out. Your fingers point towards your feet. We're going to get your forearms last. On an inhale, lean back. Stretch through your forearms. And then exhale, shift forward. And then you get to decide the depth here. So if this doesn't feel as intense as you want it to feel, move your hands further forward. If you want it to feel less intense, move your hands closer towards your knees. We're here for 5, 4, 3. You choose your journey. Last 2. And 1. Come back in through to center. Turn your palms forward and then wrist rotation. So now we're going to get real familiar with the rotation that you have through your elbows. So on an exhale, spin the inside of your elbows forward. And then inhale, spin the inside of your elbows back. So your actual elbow point will shine to the front of the room. And then keep that going. As much movement as you can find through your wrist and through your forearms. Just here for 3. For 2. Last 1. Come back through to neutral. Untuck your toes. Plant your feet flat on the ground. Lean back into your hands. And then get off your weight off your hands. On an inhale, reach your palms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. And do that twice more. Get some blood flowing back to your hands. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. 1 more. Inhale up. Exhale, hands down. Reset your intention. Again, back to your heart. Back to your love center. Where you want to send out and where you want to receive that. Breathe in. Breathe out. All right, tabletop. Let's start some heat going. From tabletop, send your right leg straight out behind you. Now turn your toes down, so that way your right hip will point down towards the ground as well. You can keep your left toes tucked or you can keep them flat on the ground. It doesn't really matter at this point. But what I want you to do is spin your elbows back. So again, your elbow pit and your biceps shine forward. I want you to kick your right heel up towards the ceiling. Hold here at this 90-degree angle. Now lean your chest forward. Keep your belly drawn in tight so it's supportive. On your exhale, lower down halfway like chaturanga arms. Attempt to touch your chest towards the ground. Point your toes straight up to the ceiling. Take a breath in. Then exhale, press it back up, back to that one-legged tabletop. All right. Inhale, bend your right leg. Exhale, lower down. Stay for your inhale. Exhale, press it back up, right leg straight. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, bend your right leg. Exhale, lower down. Breathe in. Exhale, press back up, tabletop. 1 round of cat-cow. Inhale, pull forward. Exhale, press and round. Come back to neutral. Let's take that to the other side. Left leg straight behind you. Once again, left toes down, left hip down. Flex your toes towards the ground so your glutes engage. Then bend your legs, send your heel up. Lean forward, inhale. Exhale, lowered halfway down. Again, point your toes up, stay for your breath in. Exhale, press back up, left leg out straight. Twice more. Inhale, bend your leg. Exhale, lower. Stay for your breath in. Exhale, press up. 1 more time, inhale, bend. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale, press back up, tabletop. Inhale, cow pose, 1 round. Exhale, cat pose. Back to neutral, tuck your toes. On an exhale, downward facing dog. First round here, so move at your own leisure. Notice the weight distribution in your hands. Can you start to even it from your index finger pad, the thumb knuckle, all the way to your pinky thumb knuckle? Or pinky knuckle rather, not thumb knuckle. Those two don't make sense. Whew. Alright. Also, if you don't have the heat on in your house, I'd recommend it. It really brings the studio ambiance IRL. So, take yourself back to downward facing dog. Find some stillness. On a breath in, shift forward to a high plank. We're going to revisit that Kapalabhati breath that we started. So get your strong plank, shoulders right on top of your wrists. Spread your fingers wide. You always have the option to use your knees here to take it to a tabletop variation. We're going to take 3 rounds of Kapalabhati breath. So inhale through your nose. 3 exhales through your mouth. We'll do that twice more. In and out. 1 more time. In and out. Breathe in together. Exhale, down dog, hips up and back. Look forward, inhale. On your exhales, take a journey to the top of your mat. You can take it slow, you can take it fast. Bend your knees once you're at the top, fold over your leg. Give your arms a rest. For this one, turn your palms face up, bring your hands flat on the ground. Again, palms will face the ceiling. Spread all 10 fingernails onto the ground, so widen it out. And once you got your hands on the ground, bend your knees and then start to press into your heels with your knees still slightly bent. Get a little stretch through your hamstrings, maybe into your low back. 2 breaths. All right, whatever variation you took, come back through to center. Hands to the ground, bend into your knees. On an inhale, slide up to standing. Take it slow. If your eyes are closed, try to envision every piece of this coming all the way up to standing. And I had to change my camera at very last minute, and I think I've got it at the best that it can be at this angle. So if you're missing my head at the moment, you're not missing much. Don't worry about it. We'll get through this stuff. Come back to your high Samasthiti, hands to heart. Set your intention and reset it. Where you're here, where you're wanting to send love, how you're wanting to receive love, and the filters that you're putting everything through, whether that's adding more to that love or whether that's deflecting it. Breathe in together, out together. All right, start the flow. Inhale, reach up to mountain pose, hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge at your hips, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Slide your hands up your legs. On your exhale, high plank. You've been here before. We'll take it slow to start. Breathe in, shift forward. On your exhale, lower all the way to your belly. We're going to take it super slow. Belly touches, chest touches before your hips. Again, super slow journey down. Flip to the tops of your feet. We're going to take slow cobra pose. So tops of your feet first. Before you even think about lifting your chest, press your feet down. Lift your knees, lift your quads. Now point your tailbone down so your hip points slightly lift up. Then draw your belly up and in. This should already feel a little difficult, just engaging yourself flat on the ground. Once you have yourself flat, inhale, lift your chest. Now the hands do very little work here. They can assist you. The power comes from pressing to the top of your feet, squeezing your glutes, dragging your chest forward. So try to pull from your belly away, hips from your hips, ribs from your hips. One last breath in. And then exhale, take one ear, cheek to the ground, arms alongside your hips, and then wiggle your hips left and right. Let the tension that you were just holding yourself up with release. All right, come back through to center, hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes, just as strong and straight. Inhale, lift up to a high plank. Lift your tailbone off the ground first. One straight line, press up, then down dog, hips up and back. We'll take 3 rounds of breath. 2. And last one. All right, inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop forward. Start to speed this up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up to a mountain pose, stay high. Exhale, hands to your heart, bring your intention back to center. Inhale, mountain, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. If you want to keep your cobras going, feel free. Otherwise, we're going to transition to chaturanga. Take a breath in, shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway. That bending of your elbows straight back is just as important here. On your inhale, upward facing dog. Straighten your arms. Squeeze your shoulders together on your back and attempt to pull your hips and your chest forward to the front of the room. Notice if your shoulders are up by your ears, press your arms straight and lift your ears up higher. Breathe in, and then exhale, downward facing dog. And as long as you're keeping your glutes squeezed through your upward facing dog, your back should be pretty safe. So breathe into that. If you're feeling some tension there, that's probably some overly tight muscles that need that little extra attention. One more breath here and down dog. All right, breathe in, look forward. Exhale, step or hop forward. Last time through sun A. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale your intention back to your heart, Samasthiti. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, vinyasa. You choose what happens to get back to downward facing dog. If that lasts a long time or if it's a short journey back, it's totally up to you. Full round of breath. All right, take your right leg high, breathe in. Again, just as much solidity through your hips. So turn your right heel, right toe, and right hip towards the ground. And then squeeze your glute, lift your heel a little higher. Breathe in here. On your exhale, low lunge with control. Super slow journey. Pull your knee to chest. It's not a glitch. We're going super slow. Step your feet to your hands. Lower your left knee down to the ground. Take your right hand to your hip first. So keep your torso close to your thighs. Both hands to your hips. Draw your belly up and in. Notice how you feel hunched forward. Can you lean your chest forward, pull your shoulders down away from your ears? Now with all of that core engagement, with that length, inhale, reach up to kneeling crescent lunge. Anjaneyasana. All right, for your Anjaney. Left knee doesn't have to be stacked underneath your hip, but it may feel painful if you're directly on top of your kneecap. So if you move your left knee back, you can come on top of the cap instead of, or above it instead of on top of it. And that should take away a little bit of pressure there. You can also roll your mat underneath, double roll it so you have a little bit of extra support. You get to choose. Once you've gotten your legs set up, pull them in towards one another. Squeeze in. Use that to lift your hips a little higher. Now, two poses really challenged me when I first started yoga. This was one of them. The other one was a seated meditation. Just a simple cross leg, lifting up your chest. I could not focus. I felt so much pain, discomfort. So, just because it looks simple doesn't necessarily mean your body's going to find it simple. Let's take a breath here. And then on your exhale, back bend. So squeeze your elbows towards your ribs. Start to lift up your heart, but lift it from the back. So as if somebody has a hand right in the middle of your shoulders, pressing your chest forward. But at the same time, squeeze your thighs and your belly in so you're activated. Inhale, reach back up to crescent moon. It's a little different this time. Exhale to half splits. So flex your right toes, start to straighten your right leg, pull your hip back. Now you can keep your hands off the ground. You don't need them for this pose, but this can be very intense without it. So feel free. Grab a block if you have it, or place your hands on your right shin, the ground if you have it. But notice if you're rounded forward or if you have a flat back, just like you were in a halfway lift. Flex your right toes, pull your right hip back, press your right heel forward, and then get strong through your belly and lifted through your chest. You've got 3 rounds of breath. So we're going to start to piece together openness for you. Each one of these is a little precursor. And we'll start to throw it all together, much like baking a cake. All the ingredients are necessary in due time. All right, next inhale, reach back up to a kneeling crescent lunge. So both hands up. On your exhale, both hands down to the ground. All right, 3-legged dogs. And your right leg high. Hold here. Bend your legs, stack your hips, and then lift your right knee up. Now notice how much you dipped your left shoulder down. Can you lift it back up? Put equal pressure through left and your right hand, and then try to squeeze your right heel to touch your left butt cheek. Now if you can touch that, great. You got a lot of flexibility. Even if you can't, once you have it activated, lift your right knee a little higher. Stretch through your right hip pocket area, your hip flexor. If you want to draw circles, you can. All right, come back through to downward facing dog. On an inhale, shift forward to a high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Vinyasa, your way to down dog. Side note, I just took Emma's class right before this, and I highly recommend Emma. Great instructor here at Black Swan as well. Look out for her on the sketch. She got my body feeling really good. So in turn, I'm going to make y'all's bodies hopefully feel just as good. Take your left leg high, breathe in. And pause, left knee, left toe down, left hip down. Squeeze your glute, breathe in, press more through the ground. On your exhale, again, super slow. Knee in towards your nose as you shift forward to stack your shoulders over your wrist. When you can't go any further forward, step your foot through. Yeah, right knee down to the ground. Again, if you want to pad up your right knee, whatever you did on the other side, maybe move it further back so you're not directly on top of your kneecap. Get it set up, hands to your thighs. Belly in. Again, notice where you want to hunch forward, you want to round forward. We're not channeling hunchback anymore, we're getting long. Press your ears and the top of your head forward, and then inhale. You can press into your hands, but lift your hands above your head, kneeling crescent lunge. And again, You may find that that shape you started with is not the right shape to lift your hands above your head. You're always in the driver's seat to adjust it. Squeeze thigh to thigh, knee to heel, heel to knee. Use that to get your hands higher. Envision lifting up your elbows away from your heart, but then chase your elbows with your heart. Lift it up a little higher. Breathe in, and then exhale, back bend. Squeeze your elbows to your ribs. You're still accenting your chest forward, at the same time pulling your elbows down and back. Side note, we got Skiba coming in to investigate. One more breath. Inhale, reach back up to kneeling crescent. Exhale, half splits. You can flex your toes, hands either to the ground, to your knee, or maybe even float if you've got that capacity. Neither of these are wrong as long as you're not feeling any pain or sharp discomfort in your body. Discomfort is going to happen inevitably. This is life after all, but know the difference between discomfort and pain and adjust. Take one more full round of breath. What's up, Skeebers? I don't know if your pets are loving or hating y'all being home right now, but he is loving it. He has been a cuddle monster supreme. Next inhale, reach back up, kneeling crescent lunge. Exhale, both hands down. Once more, step your left foot back, three-legged dog. Bend your leg and then stack your hips. Again, this can feel good. Notice your shoulders. Right shoulder wants to dip down. Don't show me your shoulder. Shine your chest to the mat. Squeeze your left heel to glute. Lift your inner thigh up. Good. Once that feels even, come back through to stillness. Downward facing dog. Breathe in and shift forward. Then on your exhale, vinyasa flow. Back to downward facing dog. Let out a couple of breaths. If you ever feel a need to skip, feel no shame for that. Skip as much as you need. Take extra as much as you need. All right, let's make that into a little bit of a flow as well. Before we take it any further, breathe in, look forward. Exhale, step or hop top of your mat. Land silently or softly. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Again, get stretched long, tall through your entire body. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Flow if you want it. Inhale up. Exhale, downward dog. Right leg high, breathe in. Exhale, slow, knee to nose, sack, shoulder over wrist, and then step foot through to your hands. Lower your left knee. A little bit faster. Inhale, kneeling crescent lunge, reach up. Exhale, back bend, squeeze your elbows to your ribs. Again, inhale, kneeling crescent. Exhale, half splits. And if you want to start to float your hands, challenge your balance, feel free. Inhale, back to kneeling crescent lunge. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, three-legged dog. You choose what happens here. On your exhale, down dog. Shift forward, breathe in. Chaturanga, breathe out. Inhale up. Exhale, down, left leg high, breathe in. Exhale, knee to your nose, super slow. Step it through to your hands, lower your right knee. Inhale, kneeling crescent. Exhale, back bend. Inhale up. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, back to kneeling crescent. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, three-legged dog, whatever you need here. Down dog on your exhale, vinyasa if you want it. Skip it if you don't. Breathe in. Breathe out. All right, next breath in. Look to the top of your mat. Exhale, step or hop top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Again, inhale, mountain pose. This time, get a back bend. So once you reach up to mountain, take your thumbs behind you. Take your arms out of your peripheral vision and start to lift your chest up, but keep your belly and your rib cage drawn in. They want to bow out. That's not necessarily going to get you any extra length. Can you maintain those in and then extend up? One more breath. Inhale back up to mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. A little bit different this time. Both hands down. Step your feet out, about hips width distance, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. I'm going to take to a twist. So left hand stays down. Inhale your right hand up. So your right leg will straighten. Bend your left leg. And then just like before, attempt to straighten out your spine like a halfway lift. pull your left hand towards the back of your mat, bend your right elbow, and then try to pull your elbow onto your back. So you're assisting yourself in twisting your right hip and then opening up your chest at the same time. Breathe. And then release. Other side, right hand down. Inhale your left hand up. Again, bend your right leg as much as you need. Work to straighten your left leg as much as possibly can. Belly in, and then pull your right hand back to lean in your chest forward. Again, you can bend your left elbow, pull it onto your back. Last breath in. And exhale, release. Bend your legs. Inhale, slide up to standing. Mountain pose, and then exhale, chair pose, hands down to your heart. All right, here we are. First chair. Let's see what we can do here with this chair. So you've gotten yourself in your chair pose, bend your knees, stack your knees on top of your ankles, and then press your shins forward so your hips extend a little further back. You can lift your chest away from the ground. Your hands up towards the sky. Rotate your thumbs out and your pinkies in. Take a breath here. And then on your exhale, back bend, just like we've done before. Squeeze your elbows to your ribs and then lift up your heart. And take 2 breaths here. You can draw your belly in. Point your tailbone forward. Find a slight tuck underneath. And then inhale, reach up. Twice more. Exhale, back bend. Keep the strength through your legs. Inhale, chair. Exhale, back bend. Last time, inhale the mountain, straighten your legs, reach up, back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, flow. We'll meet in a downward facing dog. You decide what entails along the way. Take your right leg high, breathe in. This time on your exhale, squeeze your knee to nose and hold. Now on your inhale, swing it to your left. Exhale over to your right. Swing it back to center. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, low lunge. Step it all the way through. All right, we're going to set up for a warrior 1 here. So step your left foot out, about a 45-degree angle. And if your shirt's blocking your way, try to look at your hips. Notice if your left hip is pointing out to the left, direct it forward, even if you have to step your left foot forward. So before you even lift, before you put weight on your feet, set them up strong. Lift your hands off the ground, draw your belly in, just like before, lengthen forward, like you're trying to stretch your ears away from your shoulders. Then inhale, warrior 1. Press through your right foot to reach up. And notice your right leg wants to straighten because that makes it a lot easier. This is more of like a pyramid variation. Bend into your right leg, it's going to stack right on top of your knee. Pivot your left hip forward. If you want to check in, take your right hand, reach across and grab your left rib cage. So you reach across the front of your body. Pull your left rib cage forward until it's in line with your right. And both hands up. 2 rounds of breath. All right, breathe in and reach up. On your exhale, hands down to the ground. Step back to plank. If you flow. If you want to skip, down dog is where we meet. Left leg high, breathe in. Exhale, squeeze left knee to your nose. Hold here. Inhale to your right. Exhale to your left. Back to center. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, low lunge with control. Set your right foot up for warrior 1 legs. Again, belly in. Pull your chest forward. Float your fingertips off the ground. Again, feel already strong through your legs. Then inhale, warrior 1. And check in with the sack of your left knee. Deepen into it. If you deepen into your knee and you feel this on your right side, there's too much pulling, step your right foot forward. That just means you took a little more distance than your body's ready for. It'll come. Just give it some time. 3 rounds of breath. Breathe in. On your exhale, hands down to the ground. You can step it back, either flow or right back to down dog. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale your right leg high. Let's start over. Exhale, knee to your nose. Inhale to your left. Exhale to your right. Back to center. Inhale, 3 leg. Exhale, low lunge. Warrior one. On an inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands down, chaturanga, flow. Inhale up. Exhale down, left leg high, breathe in. Exhale to your nose. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the left. Back to center. Inhale, 3 leg. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands down. Step back to plank and flow. Inhale up. Exhale, downward dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, step or float forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Pause here. Settle into your chair. You've got 4 rounds of breath. Oh, not bad. Just 4 rounds of breath, right? Nothing to get too worked up over. We're gonna add on to this shape. So from your chair pose, shift into your left foot. On an inhale, reach your right leg up, one-legged mountain pose. You're gonna straighten your left leg. Now notice your right knee. It gets a little easier to bring it up high. Can you lower right in line with your hip and then stack your ankle right underneath your knee? You may want to do this little pivot motion to find where gravity says is center. Flex your toes up. Take in a breath. Then exhale, figure 4. Let's cross your right ankle over your left knee. Bend your left leg. Bring your hands down to prayer. And you can stay right here. Press your right knee down, getting open through your right hip, and that can be enough. If you want more, press and start to sit your hips back. When I say press, I want you to press your right or left shin forward so your left hip extends back. Your left hamstring. You'll feel all that supportive side getting a little longer, but the more you press your right knee down, the more stretch you're going to feel on your right outer hip. And that's what we're focusing on here. Your left side is support so that your right side can stretch. You've got 2 more breaths. Inhale back up to one-legged mountain pose. Right leg comes up with you. Both hands extend up. Get long. Exhale, chair pose. Feet together. Hands to your heart. We're going to go to the other side. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Left leg lifts up with you. On your exhale, figure 4. And once you've gotten yourself set up, that may take a breath. That may take a few breaths. Again, each side is its own unique side. It gets its own unique amount of attention and use from you, whether that's on purpose, by nature, whether it's a learned movement pattern. One side is going to offer something different. Your only job is to be there with your breath, open to the experience, taking in whatever comes, and adjusting if you need. 2 more breaths. You press your left knee down and away. That's going to get the rotation to open up your left hip. We'll need that for later, I promise. Next, inhale back up to one-legged mountain. Left knee comes up with you. Exhale, chair pose. Reach up your hands high, breathe in. Exhale, forward fold, empty out. Now let's get a release before we move on. Step your feet as wide as your hips. Gorilla pose. Slide your hands with your palms face up underneath your feet. We're going to get a good release for your hip flexors, but first we have to activate them. So draw your belly up and in. Keep a slight bend in your elbows. Let the crown of your head melt to the mat. Pull your hand into your feet to bend your elbows out to the side, and then start to drag your head down. Now, at the same time your head comes down, resist with your feet. Press them into the mat to lift them a little higher. You're going to notice what's happening here in your hips. Where lights up, and where is making you want to quit. Can you be there for 1 more breath? We're here together. All right, release your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Get long, stretch forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Plant, step or float back through your vinyasa. And again, this can open up a lot on the front, or on the back rather. So give yourself a moment to open up your front line through upward facing dog. Again, the more you squeeze your glutes, the more protected your low back will be. When you're ready, downward facing dog. Breathe in together, out together. And I'm really digging that this is a 75-minute class. Normally we wouldn't even be through, we'd be closing it down now. So glad that you're staying here with me. We've got a few more minutes before that hour mark, so I'll key you in still. Let's take it together. Breathe in, look forward. Exhale, step or hop forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Mountain pose, reach up. Exhale, Samastahiti, hands to your heart. All right, let's take that a little bit faster together. Chair pose, reach up. On an inhale, one-legged mountain, right leg comes up with you. Exhale, figure four. You get a full breath in, full breath out. Inhale back to one-legged. Exhale, chair pose, hands to your heart. Inhale, one-legged mountain, left knee lifts. Exhale, figure four. Once again, full breath in, full breath out. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Exhale, forward fold, feet together, hinge at your hips and fold over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, low lunge, step your left foot back. All right, warrior two from here. So spin your left heel down, and then inhale, reach up. All right. So just like last week, we're gonna stay in this for just a little bit longer than we normally would, but not too much longer. Don't get too scared. Reach your hands apart. Press your feet apart. Press your knees apart. Now can you get your glutes to squeeze and tuck underneath you? So like you're pointing your tailbone towards the left side of your mat. And then with that lift of your tailbone, can you deepen into your front lunge? Now keep the activation of your glutes. Again, they're supporting you so that you can deepen into this lunge and then get long and tall through your spine. All right, now from your warrior two, I want you to inhale, straighten your right leg, lift your right toes off the mat, and then reach your palms up to touch above your head. And hold here, just like as if you were in a triangle pose. Squeeze your thighs together, towards one another. Press your palms together, get longer through your body. Take a breath. And then exhale back to your warrior two. Reach back out. We'll do that 3 more times. Inhale, straighten your right leg, palms to touch, squeeze your thighs. Exhale, warrior two. Twice more in and out. Once more in and out. All right. Next breath in, reach forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Lower your right arm down for support, and then lift your left arm up for space. And that is your setup here. Your right arm is down to support you, either on top of your thigh or inside of your thigh. Press it into your thigh to rotate your chest. And you can stay here for 3 rounds of breath. Reach your right arm forward for Utthita arms. So as if you're holding some big workout ball above your head. Squeeze your palms together. Rotate your left shoulder up. Make sure you still got that deep bend in your front knee. Get a full round of breath. And then inhale, reverse your warrior. Keep the bend in your front leg. As you're reaching up, pull your right shoulder blade back down away from your ear. Again, length is made from pulling your ribs away from your hips rather than stretching your shoulder up. Last breath in. And then exhale, low lunge, both hands down to the ground. See where we're going here. All right. So we're going to take it for your low lunge into a 3-legged dog. So send your right leg high. And we have the option to take it into a hurdler's variation. So from your 3-legged dog, breathe in. And on your exhale, right knee to right tricep. So shift forward to a plank. Right knee touches. You can stay here. Or bend your elbows like chaturanga arms. Tuck your left elbow into your left hip crease. Lean forward so your weight's in your hands. And then lift your left foot off the ground. Press your right knee down into your right elbow. Take a breath. And then when you're ready, chaturanga. Either step your feet back, go through your flow. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. That was a Skiba approved hurdler's pose. So we'll make that same thing happen on the left side. Breathe in, look forward. Exhale, step or hop forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Again, inhale, mountain pose. Get long, get tall, stretch. Exhale, fold, right back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low lunge, step your right foot back. Right heel down towards the ground. And then into your warrior two. Inhale, reach up. Again, take the time, set this pose up. We have time to be here. So you don't have to get it perfectly right off the bat. In fact, like most things in life, it takes a little finesse. 2 more rounds of breath with stillness. Make them your most focused. And then for 4 entire rounds of breath, inhale, straighten your left leg, point your toes up, palms come to touch, and squeeze your thighs together. Take a breath. Exhale, warrior two. We'll do that 3 times, breath to movement. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lower. Last time, inhale, straighten. Exhale, lower. Inhale, reach forward, get long. Exhale, extended side angle. And left hand is down on your thigh for support. Reach your right hand up. Now think about pulling your left hip bone back. Now as you pull your left hip bone back, your right hip is going to extend further forward. That's good. You're finding space here. Keep pressing through the pinky side of your right foot to maintain power through that space. And then last 3 rounds of breath. Option for Utthita arms. Rotate your right shoulder back. And now reverse your warrior. Again, keep the bend in your front leg. Left shoulder pulled down away from your ear. Lift your rib cage away from your hips instead. Last breath in. Then exhale, low lunge, both hands down towards the ground. And then we're going to take it into your hurdler's prep. So 3-legged dog. Send your left leg high. Exhale, left knee to left tricep. Stay here. Or bend your elbows, lean forward. Take your right elbow into your right hip crease. Lean forward until your weight shifts and you can lift your right foot. Press your left knee down into your left elbow. Last breath in. And then on your exhale, float. Step or find your way through chaturanga or downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Breathe in, seal your lips. Exhale, chatter through your nose, Ujjayi breath. We've got that 1-time breath to move. Breath in, lift your right leg high. On your exhale, knee to nose. Again, inhale back to high, let's add on. Exhale, cross to your left. Inhale, 3-leg. Exhale, low lunge, warrior 2. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, extended side angle. Take your Utthita arms, full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, 3-legged dog, right leg up. Exhale, hurdlers, right knee to right tricep. Option to stay for 3 rounds of breath. Your version here. Last full round in. Chaturanga on your exhale. Flow it back to down dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last side, left leg high. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, high. Exhale, cross to right. Inhale, 3-leg. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, extended side angle. Utthita arms, full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, 3-legged dog, left leg high. Exhale, hurdler's pose, left knee to left tricep. Right elbow to right hip. 3 rounds of breath. You find your version of lift, your version of extension. Last inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Flow to down dog. Breathe in, lift to your tiptoes. Exhale, child's pose. Knees wide, hips low. 3 full rounds of breath. Hope you're sticking with me, yogis. Again. All right. You get to choose when you move. If that's later, feel free to stay here as long as you want. If that's now, let's take it together. Shift forward to tabletop. Breathe in. Down dog on your exhale. Look to the top of your mat. And then exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Walk your feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Get long. Exhale, fold. Slide all the way up to standing. All the way up, mountain pose. Hands up to the ceiling. And then exhale, hands down to your heart, Samasthiti. So we're going to take what we did earlier with that figure 4, option to take that into an inversion as well. So from standing, take your right leg high, breathe in, 1-legged mountain. Then exhale, figure 4. So right ankle's on top of your left knee. You can stay here, or you can start to hinge forward like we did before. Bring your elbow down to your ankle and to your knee. And this is great. If you want to stay here, feel free. If you want to take your hands down to the ground, you can get it into more of a flying pigeon. Or if you want to take this into a twist, when you bring your elbow to your knee, Start to rotate your right elbow towards your right ankle or your right arch of your foot. So again, your version here, you've got 3 full rounds of breath. You choose what happens within those. You're ready to move. Inhale back up to one-legged mountain pose. Exhale, Samasthiti, hands to your heart. You can shake out your legs, especially if they're feeling a little taxed right now. And then we'll take the other side. One-legged mountain pose on an inhale, left leg up. Exhale, figure 4. Find your figure 4. And for the left side, it may be a different depth, higher or lower. You choose. Most importantly, listen to your body along the way. Don't let what I'm doing or what you think your neighbor may be thinking about what you're doing dictate how your practice goes. Let it be completely about what you're experiencing. Mindfulness isn't about always doing the right thing, but it's about being aware that when the wrong things come up, or when non-supportive things come up, and being cognitive enough to make changes within those. Next, inhale back up to one-legged mountain pose. Exhale, Samasthiti, hands to your heart, shake it out. Woo! T-Swift that business. Let it go. All right, step to the back of your mat. And we'll start that kind of over again on an inhale. Put your right leg up, one-legged mountain. But just so you can step it forward, straighten it out, and then step long forward into a pyramid pose. Now for your pyramid pose, step your feet wider than, at least as wide as your hips, maybe even wider though. So again, the closer you're in together, the more unstable that you're gonna be. Take your hands to your hips if it feels okay. You can even take your hands to your heart. Bend at your hips, hinge forward, and then fold for pyramid. And we'll give yourself a little bit of time. I know we warmed up a lot through that first little bit. Now we get to use that warmth. That warmth was a gift. It was from me to you. More importantly, it was from your body to you. Now you get to stretch out all of those warm muscles, right? You spent that first 50 minutes tenderizing. Now you get to work it out. Squeeze your thighs together, like you're pulling your right hip back, and then squeezing your left thigh forward into that right hip. Then drag your chest away from that. Hands can be on your legs, hands can be on the ground or to a block. And heck, your right leg doesn't even have to be straight. A bent pyramid is still a pyramid pose as long as you're feeling it through your hip. One more round of breath. All right, rebend your right leg. Step your right, or left foot rather, back. So set up for warrior 1 leg. So where we started earlier. Get lifted from your hands, and then inhale, reach up, warrior 1. We'll take this into a twist. So bring your palms together. Keep your legs in warrior 1 legs. So as you lean forward, your left heel is going to want to lift. Challenge yourself to keep it down. And then revolve. Bring your left elbow outside of your right knee. So we took this last week. You can keep building on this as well. If this feels tight or uncomfortable in your hips, you can take this into a revolved crescent lunge where you lift your left heel up. But if you're down for the deep stretch challenge, keep your left heel to the mat. Draw your belly away from your thighs, lift it up and in, and then press through your hands to rotate your core. Now at the same time, can you pull your right hip back? Two more breaths. I know that leg's on fire. We're going to give it a rest in a moment, I promise. Inhale to star pose. So get big. Turn to the left side of your mat. Turn your heels in and your toes out. And then just like before, squeeze your thighs together so you get taller. So you use the activation of your legs together to lift. One more breath in. And then on your exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Turn your toes to the left side of your mat. Your feet are parallel. Hinge at your hips. Fold over your legs. Now, if you have your block, go ahead and grab it. Place it directly underneath your face. Take your hands to your block. On an inhale, lengthen halfway. And notice, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. On your halfway lift, there's no bending of your back. A halfway lift, there's still flatness. So draw your belly in. Maybe even take your right hand, lift your belly up so your middle back lifts. And then pull your chest forward. Take a breath here. And then exhale, fold. Now we're going to deepen it. So take your hands, turn your fingers towards the back of your space, so they're going to face towards your heels. And then walk your hands underneath your hips. So start to drag your crown of your head down. And at the same time you're dragging your head down, using your arm strength, press through your feet as if you're trying to touch the back of your thighs to the back of your space. And again, and all of this activation isn't for nothing. So once we get to the end of class, this is where your muscles will still want to hang on, but they're going to be so exhausted, they're not going to have a choice. They have to stretch. One more breath. All right, inhale, halfway lift. Then exhale, low lunge. Walk it back to the top of your mat. Step your feet together. High plank. Breathe in. On your exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Your flow back to downward facing dog. And we're right here at the hour mark. We've got 3 minutes until we've been an hour in. So if you're tapping out, no shame at all. Start your stretches. Please stretch. Do your body a service rather than a disservice. All right, otherwise, let's take it to your other side. Look forward. Rather, step your feet wide. Walk your hands to the back of your mat and take a forward fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, come up to standing. Reach all the way out and up. Get long. Get tall. And hands to your heart. All right, last side, y'all. Breathe in. Left leg up. One-legged mountain pose. Exhale, step it forward. Again, get long. Scissor your thighs together. Maybe adjust your feet if they need to be. And then hinge forward, pyramid pose. So either hands to your heart or hands to your hips so they stay stationary. Lean forward. Again, props are your friends. Grab them. Your leg can be a prop. But again, if you notice when you put your hands on your leg, your base gets wobbly, just step your feet wider. That's all you need. Just a little support. There's nothing wrong, nothing broken. When you're ready, fold forward towards your legs. If it feels better to keep your spine straight, if you are finding space by pivoting your left hip back and dragging your chest away from that, keep that. That's dope. One more breath. Your time. Bend your left leg. Warrior one your legs. So again, shouldn't be too much setup necessary. Palms lift off the ground. Use your core. Inhale, reach up. All right. You got your warrior one down, fill in your legs. Bring your palms back down towards your heart. Inhale, lean forward. Exhale, revolved, extended side angle. Right elbow twist to your left knee, and right leg stays in warrior one stance. Your gaze can go down towards the ground if that's better on your neck. You can go up to the ceiling, you can gaze straight forward. Rather, or wherever, can you lengthen your head forward? You're trying to press an elevator button. 2 breaths. And can you still pull your left hip back? Last round. And then big movement. Inhale to star pose. You can reach out. Squeeze your heels in together. Turn your toes to the outside edges of your mat. Last breath in. Get long. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Turn your toes to the right side of your mat and then fold over your legs. And this time we're going to get single-sided. So if you want to take it to Skandasana, I'm not going to take it to there today, but if you're feeling that, go for it. Otherwise, walk your hands over towards your left foot. Now notice your right foot's going to get a little lighter. Resist that. Press your right foot down. And as you're getting closer to your left foot, more power through your right side. Again, shake your head yes and no. Let the tension that you're holding be in the side that you're trying to stretch and the side that's supporting you rather than the external, the extremities, your head, your fingers, your jaw. Let that go loose. Then back to center and over towards the right. Same thing, press more through your left foot and then shake your head yes and no. Let that tension start to release, but let your legs feel that stretch. Come back in through to center. One last time for a chest stretch. We have 3 rounds of breath here. If you want the chest stretch, take your hands to your back. Find a clasp.
Reach your knuckles straight up, even if your arms stay bent, and then let your knuckles fall past the line of your head. So even if your arms are bent arms are okay. Shake your head yes and no. And notice what you hold, where physical sensation manifests itself. And then attempt to let it go. When you're ready, the hands to the ground.
Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low lunge back to the top of your mat. Last time through, step it back to high plank. If you want to take any shapes in between, draw circles with your knees. Three-legged dog or anything at all. Feel free to take it. But down dog is where we ultimately meet. From there, lower down to your shins. And then come to standing on your shins. All right. So we're going to take it into camel pose to start. And then we'll have a little bit of mobility within that camel pose. And then we'll see what that offers up to us. So if you have your block, I would recommend taking that between your thighs so that you maintain good hip distance and inner thigh engagement. Again, that's going to be important. That's what's going to activate your lower abdominals to help support your low back. It's all connected. So to set up, hands behind your back, thumbs facing out, like you're sliding your hands into jean pockets, and then squeeze your shoulders together. Now once you start to squeeze your shoulders together, notice your ribs. They're probably going to try to flare out. Draw them down and in. Knit that corset of your ribs down towards your hips. Keep squeezing your shoulders together. Press your hips forward and then walk your gaze up the wall. Slowly keep squeezing up to the ceiling. Keep squeezing in. Keep pressing your hips forward. Squeeze your glutes and then you may meet your gaze at the back wall. It doesn't have to go there. It can be at the ceiling. Just make sure you feel just as supported the entire time. 3 rounds of breath. Squeeze your glutes on an inhale. Come up slow and supported back through center. Lower your hips down to the ground. You can move your block to the side. Hands on top of your thighs for support or hands down to the ground if you need some rooting. And just take 3 rounds of breath to watch your heart rate. Maybe watch it spike. Simply observe it, whatever state it's in at the moment. All right. Now keep your hips on the ground for the moment. Take your left hand outside of your left foot, and then inhale, lift up your hips. So press through the ground. You can take your knees out wide. Lift your right hand up, and then come back down, and then take that to your right side. Right hand down, press and lift your hips. So getting a little still front line opening, and then take that left to right, back to center. If you want to make that a little quicker, make it a little quicker. But just notice what you can change, the speed, the control, to get a little fluid movement through this. And then take one more round each side. If you're still in the middle of a round, finish that one out, and then take one more each side. And then come back in through to stillness. Get a full round of breath. All right, last time through, camel pose. If you have a deepened version of this, if you're able to take your hands down towards your calves, or if you want to take a block in between your legs so that once you're in your camel pose, your hands can be supported behind you instead of on your back, you can make that happen as well. Otherwise, set up for your camel. Last round. Squeeze your thighs, hands to your back to start, point your tailbone forward, so spin your inner thighs forward, walk your gaze up the wall of the ceiling, keep squeezing your shoulders together. And again, if you have that space, take one hand to your foot, your ankle, your back. If this puts pressure into your low back, come back out of it. It's okay. You don't want to injure yourself just to make a shape look like somebody else's shape. One more full breath. Come back up through to center. Bring yourself down into a tabletop. Round a cat-cow, inhale lower. Exhale round. And then tuck your toes, press your hips up and back. We're going to take this into a pigeon to start, but we're going to slowly transition to pigeon. With these 45-minute classes that we've had, I've been skipping pigeon. We've done doing seated figure 4. I'm a big fan of pigeon. Let's take it. Take your right leg high, breathe in. Then exhale, right knee to your right wrist. Now, to start, I want you to walk your left knee back. Just for a moment, keep your hands on the ground. untuck your back toes, and then start to walk your hands towards your legs until you can lift up without using your hands. So your left hip should direct forward. If you're feeling really unstable on your right side, take a block underneath your hip. But for a moment, take your hands out behind you. More of a king pigeon version variation of this. So reach your arms out behind you, draw your belly button in, press your left knee down and your left hip forward, press your right shin into the mat. And then on a big breath in, reach your hands up above your head. Again, super slow. It's not a glitch. You're moving slow through your body's movement. Take an inhale, and then exhale, half pigeon, as slow as you can. Lean forward. Use every bit of that length to lower yourself down to the ground. Now that block is inhibiting your space, take it away. I like to put it underneath my chest. When you put it under your chest, your body doesn't have to go as far, and you don't have to overextend through your upper half to still maintain the stretch that you're getting through your lower half. Let your forehead touch the ground if it feels okay. And then let this become really decadent in your body. Find a richness to it where you can expand, softness, and take up space. When I think of decadence, I think of these big rooms, high ceilings, a lot of space, soft fabrics. Can you emulate that with your body, with your intention, with your breath? 4 more rounds of breath here. And then come back in through center. You can stay here if you want. We're going to add on a quad stretch. So if you'd rather stay in pigeon, if you think your quads are all right, leave them like they are. So try to kick your left heel towards your glute. Now again, this may feel intense if you're directly on your left kneecap, so you may want to move it back so that you're above your kneecap instead. Then squeeze your heel to glute, reach back with your right hand, and before you grab your foot, just try to squeeze your foot in. So again, not touching your foot, using the strength of your own hamstring first. Once you've gotten enough depth there, you've gotten as far as you can go, then grab it with your hand. You may grab it with your hand, you may have the space, you can grab it with your elbow, but open your chest here. So squeeze your elbows together. Try to squeeze them together onto your back to lift up your heart. 3 breaths. Make them deep. And then avoid slingshotting your foot. Gently release. Take both hands down to the ground. 3-legged dog. Tuck your left toes, lift your knee, reach your right foot up. Draw circles with your right leg, and then stack your hips just like before. We're going to take this into either flip dog or a wild thing. So we'll get to open up your front leg. So step your right foot to the left side of your mat. Your foot can stay flat and your left leg can stay straight for wild thing. This is a great way to open up. If you want to take it into a flip dog, just bend your left leg. Take more of a reverse tabletop with your feet. Hands behind your head. Squeeze your right elbow into your ear. And then inhale, lift your left elbow and chest up to the ceiling. And can you press through your left hip or heel so that your left hip lifts? Take another breath. And then exhale, hands down to the ground. Last option for chaturanga if you want it. Well, actually, we'll have one more for your left side if you really want it. But another option to clean the slate. And then take your left leg high, breathe in. And then exhale, bring your knee to your left wrist. Set up for half pigeon to start. But again, we're going to take it to that king pigeon version before we go anywhere. So walk your right knee back. Hands walk towards your legs so that you're lifted and you're supported with just your left or just your legs on the ground. Maybe a block underneath your left sit bone if it's feeling a little lifted. And once you feel supported through your lower half, begin to get lifted through your upper half. Reach your hands out and up, super slow, super controlled. Last inhale, lift up. And then exhale, half pigeon. Bring your hands to your heart, lean forward. You can keep pressing through your legs so that you get long. If you had the block underneath your chest, let it sit there and then bring your chest down to the block. Bring your forehead to the mat, hands wherever feels supportive. And let this side settle for a couple of breaths. And again, these are so different depending on what you've done or haven't done. So take a couple of breaths and then adjust, only if you need. Oftentimes your body will fidget. You'll look for things to do. Pick at something on the ground, wipe the sweat, scratch your toes. Let that go. Be with your body. Those are the symptoms of distraction. Look for the source. Take 4 more full rounds of breath. If you're feeling it, stay here. If you want the quad stretch from the other side, walk your hands back. Again, kick your right heel towards your glute. Get on top of your knee or above it rather than on top of it. And then squeeze your heel in. And take your left hand behind you this time. But again, use just the squeeze of your heel first. So rather than your hand, use your hamstring strength. And then lock your foot into place. Again, you can grab it with your elbow. You may have to grab it with your hand. You may not be able to touch it at all. Either is fine. Another way to get more space in this shape is to take your block underneath your right hand. And you get a little more lifted. You open up a little more space. Elbows together. Open up your heart. 3 breaths. Gently release. Again, slowly. Avoid slingshot. Take your left foot up. 3-legged dog. Whatever you need here to open up. Last option for chaturanga, I promise. Final one. I feel like we've done so many, but they're not for nothing. They all have a purpose. From down dog, look forward, breathe in. And your exhale, step, walk, hop, travel forward to the top of your mat. Lower all the way down to your back. We're going to take this into a twist. Pull your right knee into your chest, and then twist over towards the left. Press your right shoulder down. The more you press your right shoulder down, the more likely that you'll find space to get your right knee across to the left. A little counter engagement. Another round. Back to center, switch out. Left knee in, right leg long, taking a breath to squeeze in. And then exhale to twist over towards the right. And the more you press through your left shoulder, the more space you could find maybe on your left towards the right. Come back through to center. Bridge or wheel pose. From here, press into your heels, lift your hips. Knees directly underneath or on top of your heels rather. And find this little bit, lift of your chin up. So as you start to press and get your chest closer towards your chin, there's a little space. You'll start to lengthen through the back of your neck. Take one more breath, get up onto your tiptoes, and then press your hip points a little higher. Squeeze your glutes together. Take a breath. Lower down. Last one is going to be a plow pose. If you'd rather have a seated forward fold, take it. Otherwise, take your legs straight up to the ceiling, flex your toes to your face, lift your hips off the ground, and take your feet behind your head. Once your feet lift up off the ground, keep your gaze right up between your legs to protect your neck. Rather than looking left or right, trust that you're in a good shape. Let your feet come behind your head. If they don't touch the ground, that's okay. Just bring your hands to your low back to support them. All together, lower your knees down to frame your ears, bring your hands down to the ground, take a breath, and then exhale, lower yourself down. 1 vertebrae at a time, tailbone touches last. Let your feet touch the ground. Broken bridge, left and right. Step your feet as wide as your mat. Let tension through your inner thighs go. And take your left leg straight. Your right leg out straight. Close your eyes. Take one more big breath in together. Sigh it out together. Shavasana. Allow yourself to do nothing. As always, I wish this class were longer, as I do all my classes. And if you need your practice to last longer, feel free to stay in this shape. If you're ready to move, invite movement back to your fingers, your toes, your arms, and your legs. Wake yourself up until you can pull yourself up to a seat, and that can take as short or as long as you need. Eventually, hands at your heart, somewhere comfortable in a seat. Press your thumbs into your chest, lift your chest up into your thumbs. Again, use all of that awareness of your spine to get tall. Use this length, this body awareness for the rest of your day. It's yours, you've earned it, you own it. Take it with you. From my heart to yours, with light and love. Namaste. Hope you stick around, stayed with me. If you did, thanks so much. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, my name is Jeremy. This is first one that I've done here on YouTube, so I'd love to get feedback. If you have any questions about the formatting or anything that's happening here at Black Swan in general, I'd love to connect. Let's talk about it. My Instagram is jerpose, jer_POSE. And everything that we're doing here through Black Swan is all donation based. Right now we're not earning any income at all. So everything that's going on here is helping keep us afloat. So if you can donate, we would very much appreciate it. We have a relief fund for the teachers going. It's at blackswanyoga.com/live. I also believe it's just underneath this if you're on the YouTube app. So thanks again for joining up. Hope to see you soon. Let's reach out. Bye, y'all.